an architecture, we should specify for each element how it will behave in different situation, different circumstances. Another point is that we have different types of diagrams, and most of them are some types of box and line drawings. Just creating these box and line drawings cannot be received as architecture of the system. So when you look at the names of those elements or those drawings, and you cannot see the functionality or the behavior of the elements. So when we don't have these information, our assumptions of those information can be wrong. This does not mean that the exact behavior and performance of every element must be documented, but we should note that some aspects of behaviors are fine-grained and below the architecture's level of concern. So we should just focus on the behavior of the elements that are important for the architecture. Hello, Mr. Majid. If you can type your question, please type it in the chat box. And if you want to talk, we will wait until you can change your microphone. Okay, so whenever you know that your microphone is okay, please raise your hand again. And also, I don't disable your microphone. Yes, Mr. Al-Janobi, Mr. Haidar, I will upload the PDF version of these slides. Okay, don't worry, I will upload the PDF version of these slides. Don't worry about the book. I will upload all the books and slides. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Majid. Mr. Majid, please ask your question. You're welcome, Mr. Haidar. Mr. Majid, we will do the documentation. The software engineers will do the documentation. Every step, every decision that they made, they need to document those decisions. By documentation, you should write down all the decisions that you made for your software. You can write down by just writing natural language. For example, you will write down that our software should be quick. For example, the answers of the software should be less than for example 10 milliseconds, okay? Or you can use different models, different diagrams for documenting your software system. So just writing the code is not enough. Writing all the explanations about the codes, about the design, about the tests, about the architecture, writing down the details of these parts of software development is called documentation. Okay, is it clear? And we do the documentation. The software engineers do the documentation. For example, when I write a code, I will also write down the explanation of that code. And also in the code, the comments that you write for your code are also part of the documentation. So the comments that you write for each one of your functions, or the comments that you write for each one of your classes, or each one of the statement of the code are part of the documentation. You're welcome, Mr. Majid. It's okay, thank you. Thank you for your question. So we were talking about the behavior of elements, and we said that the behavior of elements are important in architecture, but not all of the elements behavior. If an element's behavior can influence other elements or influence the system as a whole, then that behavior will be perceived as a part of the architecture. Okay, so we will check the behavior of elements. If that behavior can influence other elements or the system as a whole, then we should consider that behavior in our architecture. Okay, if there is any other question until now, please ask your question. Then I will talk about an example about the human body. And if you agree, we can have a quick break. Yes? Okay, so we will have a 10 minutes break.